Hello and welcome to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. This week we were joined by the Vancouver-based Irish comedian Amy Walsh. Kevin told us a lovely story about... Well, actually, I shouldn't tell you what the story's about. That'll ruin the episode on you now. And maybe I shouldn't say lovely, because if you listen to it, you'll find out why. So I'm going to keep this short and we can just crack away with the episode. Go follow everyone online. Myself, Jason, Kevin, Amy. There'll be links to all of that in the description of the podcast. If you're in Vancouver or Canada, go check out Amy when she's doing live gigs, and stay tuned and look at our social media to see when we announce our live tour for next year. Other than that, enjoy the episode, and we'll chat to you next week when we're doing an episode, I believe, about Joe Dolan with the wonderful Justine Stafford. So talk to you next week. Good luck.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall.
Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish lineage to find Jason from Carlo and Kevin from Dawn. Guide you through the ways of Shite.
Well, this is Amy Walsh.
It is, yeah.
And we're here to do an episode about something.
Not just to talk about heroin in Dublin.
No, have you had any controversies with the government that we could talk about?
Do I have any
Yeah.
Or what's heroin like in Canada?
Yeah,
it's huge. Not that I've ever partaken in it, but
it is big in Vancouver.
Yeah, there's like a lot of fentanyl as well. There's this like one particular street called East Hastings where they kind of pushed all of the drug users when the Olympics was there. I can't remember what year, but they put them all in kind of one section.
Yeah,
and
They made all the athletes stay in the one area.
yeah.
I think they call it the Olympic Village.
Crazy. Yeah.
They kind of big drug zone.
Yeah, these are all ex-Olympic athletes. Yeah, I've seen them doing some
Damn.
fair electric things down that street. No, it's it's really sad, but like it's so funny because as soon as you get there, like so many Irish people were like,
It's class.
Have you been down to East Hastings? Like first thing they said to me, I was like, what is this place? And then I saw it and I was like, why are people telling you to go there straight away?
It's probably cheap rent.
Well, no, you're not. You don't want to be living like.
Yeah, but when you're trying to get it from over here, and they're like, it's a bit of a heroin problem. I'm from fucking Dublin City.
Yeah.
I'll move into.
It's scary.
bad.
Like, yeah. It's like there's
Who said
like
that's
zombies.
the 50 Cent story about Jim Sheridan? Because they were like, Get Rich or Die Trying. Jim Sheridan directed that for 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah.
And
Did he?
Yeah, it was right after In America. And he,
Oh my god, I had no idea.
It was the beginning of all of his bad films that like he had never really put a foot wrong, and then he did that, and it's like, it's not good from here on out. It was like
wild.
Secret Scripture and all that shit. But that they did like the Irish premiere of it here because 50 was obviously big.
Obviously.
Did he come to Ireland
Oh yeah.
for the premiere?
Oh yeah, and within 2 years he was playing Waterford IT. His career didn't go on the up after that. It went more like
Somehow.
Coolio.
Yeah.
They really knocked everyone's career off back. Jim, it was really.
But that's what they'd said that he was like, I'm from like, I guess 50's from like New York or Brooklyn or something. He's like, I'm from like the projects, and Jim's like, I'm from Sheriff Street. Like, I will bring you down there, and he did.
Did
And
he?
50 was like, yeah, let's go back to the city. I don't want any part of this. This is too
scary.
much for me.
He got shot 6 times going down Sheriff Street. Not many people know that.
50 Cent shot in Dublin.
Yeah.
Jesus, I had no idea. I'd never watched that movie. I did though.
You're better
Played
off.
the video game.
Sounds straight.
I
No.
it's the
I'm
best
missing out.
4 hours of your life.
Why is it?
It's an incredibly short game. There was like every young white man in Ireland was buying that because everyone was obsessed with 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And the game.
Okay.
But
What did you play in the game?
He has a rocket launcher.
oh no, the game's the other rapper I was talking about. But
All right, yeah. This is ludicrous.
Hey.
How many rappers do we know, and how many of them are from the 1990s?
My brain is just like blanked. I'm like,
there was Blind Boy and
no, B Wonder from Cork had that yoke about giving up smokes. It was like a minute and a half rap a cappella. If you could Google B Wonder, we can't. Is this on the Patreon? He's not going to copyright strike us. There's like B Wonder. Anyone who's listening, B Wonder unbelievable. Just incredible talent.
Do you remember that young lad who was he on the toy show, or he was rapping a few years ago?
Ryan Tuberty. That was an embarrassing time for the nation.
No, oh God, he's something about rashers, or it's really funny. He's like
yeah.
a young lad, and it's really cute.
Yeah.
But I can't remember his name. It's like it's not Teabag. That's no, Teabag is coming to my head. I'm like, it's not Teabag.
Teabag's the guy from Prison Break.
Yeah, and he chopped off his arm.
He did.
And
yeah.
my
Yeah, him
future
on
rap name.
He seems more like a guest in the Late Late Show. Yeah, and you were in prison, were you? Yeah. You chopped off your own hand, did you? That's great. Up next is Amy Walsh. She's going to tell us about comedy in Canada. What's that like? That must be gas. Now, move down on the couch there. We've got a man here who says he was raped every day in prison for the last 17 and a half years. Tell us your story, Sean. I am going to be the next host of Late Late after Patrick Kilty.
Has he started
ready.
yet? Or?
I don't think so.
No, I think we're coming back now to the post-summer break, which is also a very
yeah.
nice idea that they're like, we'll take a break because there's people too busy in the summer for Friday nights to watch the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
Everyone watching the Late Late Show is an old person who's like, they just have RT1 on
Yeah.
for company.
Yeah.
Then
It's just on the background,
it's like 20 years before that, it was just, I have the radio on. The wireless is on just for company. And at a certain point, it became RT1. And they're like, how are we getting 500,000 views at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday? It's because there's that many lonely people whose children don't call them.
Oh, that's really sad.
Why would I talk to my wife when my best friend Pat Kenny is here to tell me about what I should be scared of in the city today?
The content on the Late Late is just wild. Like
It's amazing.
it's like it's literally like it could be someone's dying, and then the next thing it's like, oh yeah, and now we're going to have the cat from Love Hate. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I love showing that to people in Canada. I'm like, our national, like our
Yeah.
biggest talk show, they had a cat on it because there was so many complaints that it got shot in a fictional TV show.
God, I didn't hear about that. That's
You
the
didn't?
cat that gets like killed in Love
The one
Hate.
Barry
Yeah, the one Barry
Keoghan-
Keoghan killed. Yeah.
And
And
they had
then
to
they
get
had
Barry
them-
Keoghan on. Everyone's like, boo, boo.
Yeah. They're like,
No, they had to write it into Love Hate after they captured it on film. That was the big problem. That was before all the Galway assaults came out in the
Yeah,
news.
that's true. That's in your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
It was in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Where
I
were
was not
you
involved.
the night?
I was not involved. I'm from half an hour outside the city. I wouldn't be involved in any of that kind of stuff.
That's a pretty good alibi, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No crime happens where I'm from, let me tell you.
Not the source.
And you don't live in the country. That's another good alibi.
Yeah, I don't live in Ireland.
It's you in Vancouver. Innit?
I live half
the
an hour
job
away
done.
from that. Also, 7 hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shoot that cat.
He deserved it, Barry. Fair play to you.
We're very into the old references so far.
yeah, this is very much the early 2000s television. Which
Yeah.
is what the listeners tune in for. To be honest, I don't know what the fuck they tune in for. It might be this. It's hard to tell. But maybe, right, here's a story. I was trying to Google a story to talk to you about today. What I did find is a lot of, because I was searching through threads of looking just for some Irish Vancouver connection.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of Irish people asking how to move to Vancouver. A lot of people in Vancouver asking, what the fuck is going on with all these young Irish people?
Yeah.
Is it that many? Like,
Oh my God.
The summer
It's
Irish.
insane.
you always hear like there's certain areas,
Yeah.
obviously like Toronto, but it's a much bigger city because they're like New York. People are like, oh yeah, loads of Irish in New York. You might go there and not meet any Irish because there's just so many people. And I've heard Toronto's kind of the same, but Vancouver,
Vancouver, it's infested. Like
and San Diego's the exact same, where it's like you just can't.
Wild.
Yeah,
But there's only 3 cities. Well, no, what? 4 cities in Canada.
There's more than that.
There's really not. There's Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal,
and French Montreal.
French 3.5, and then
there's
being very
Calgary.
kind, Ottawa. Calgary isn't a city. Calgary
is.
Calgary's a place for fucking cowboys to hang out once a year.
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
That's not. Oh yeah,
That's
that was
the capital.
Yeah, no, that was the 4th one. That
Oh.
was the one there, but it's been very generous. That's the most boring place I've ever been to in my life.
Have you been there?
I was in Ottawa for its 105th birthday, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?
150?
150 years old." 150th, sorry.
Oh, 50. Okay, still.
I like what the fuck we
105 was really pushing it.
Yeah, I was like,
105. I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, this is
that's
the,
wild.
this is the oldest.
If that was a
building in
person,
the
it
city.
wouldn't be a big deal for the birthday. It's like we
Yeah.
mainly do them in like
Yeah,
tens.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
If that was a person, it's
she
the
won't
equivalent
die.
of their 32nd birthday. Like, get back to me when you're 1,000 years old. I don't give a shit. Ottawa, very boring. Ottawa is
Okay,
the
Halifax, another city.
All right, you got me there.
Victoria.
That's a
Vancouver
name?
Island.
Nope,
That's a good
wrong.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vancouver Island is not a city. It's just
Vancouver Island is actually massive.
Ham-
yeah, it's
Ham-
massive, but it's not like it's not-
Victoria is a city.
It's a park.
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
That's a play.
Yeah.
No, these are towns basically jumped.
Now
up.
we're just listing cities in Canada.
But the point is that if you are
Buckle up, listeners. We've got 14 hours left on this SD card.
oh, you didn't like
And
the
I've
chat
got-
about Barry Keoghan. What about every townland in Canada? Let's go, Newfoundland.
Oh, another, and also
Labrador.
that's like all made of Irish immigrants. So
It
it's
is,
like
yeah. They've got a funny
really weird accent. Yeah.
But but realistically, if you're moving over to Canada, as
Yeah.
fast as it is, you're either going to Toronto, you're going to Vancouver. If you passed Leaving Cert French, you might try Montreal. But
Yeah.
that's it. Like you're going to go to one of those, really Vancouver or Toronto.
It's-
Vancouver if you want to go snowboarding, Toronto if you want to
Yeah.
have a good
And the
time.
beach as well in Vancouver.
That's
So,
true, yeah.
Well, you can snowboard on the beach.
You can.
You can.
It's insane.
Yeah. If you take enough drugs, you can do anything.
You wouldn't get that in Dublin.
No.
But you can actually in a day you could be snowboarding and be on the beach at the same time because the snow when you go up north it's still like snowy and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can. It's actually it is possible. But there's so many Irish people. Like,
Yes.
Like honestly, you'd see an Irish person. I'd say every day, like
Because
on the
it's-
street.
Is that why
Yeah.
they legalized green?
Yeah, it's all the Irish people. Yeah,
Because the drinking age is 19?
19, yeah.
So it's if you
Whoa,
want to
whoa,
go,
whoa, what?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
19.
it's
That's-
19 in BC. So where Vancouver is, next
Yeah.
province over, it's 18. So like you can. It
If
changes.
you want to go into J1, but you're not 21 to drink in the States, you just go to
Yeah.
Vancouver.
And it's
Class.
Yeah.
you can get the visas aren't like the 2-year visas aren't too hard to get as well. So,
Sure, yeah.
but yeah, no, there's a whole area.
You don't be fucking telling them that. This is fucking. you don't fucking-
I don't qualify for J1 anymore.
You just tell him not to ever.
Never ever leave again.
Yeah.
He mainly does most of the work for this podcast, and
can't do
I'm
it
kind of
for
You
living.
can't do the cameras.
I'm like
Fuck.
living rent free.
I've been to Vancouver.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You sound like you're a huge fan there.
Yeah, Vancouver Island. Yeah, it's good if you like doing outdoor stuff
Yeah.
and having a good time and being in nature, which are all things I detest.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
there's
there you go.
wasn't much there for me, but you enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's unreal. It's good crack.
I was in Canada. I was in Vancouver actually. This is the first Vancouver story, and it also coincides with apparently there's a massive uptick in Irish people in the last number of years
Yeah.
after Trump apparently got more difficult
Oh.
to get J1 visas.
Okay, yeah.
Because a lot of these forums are people being like, where the fuck are all these white GA wearing hooligans coming from? And
Yeah.
it was after 2016. But I was
Fade haircuts.
in Vancouver doing a gig the night that Trump was elected.
Oh, no way.
And I was trying to figure out where it was in case it's still going. But I think it was
Yeah.
just like an open mic somewhere in the pub. And they had all the TV screens on showing the results coming in. And it got to the stage where it was apparent that Hillary had lost.
Yeah.
And so I remember they like turned the TV off. There was a TV behind the stage or on the stage, and they turned that off, and they just turned the sound off on the other ones.
Oh, jeez.
So it was
the
still
gig
going.
Was still
This
going
gig was
with
still going,
Ah,
and there was people
no.
like literally crying there, and they were like, "All right, now time." We just turned that off, and now time for the comedy silence of some dickhead from Ireland you've never heard. Everyone clap for that. And went up to like dead silence, and people were like, "This is." I remember I was staying with my cousin, and her friend came up afterwards and was like, "Well, this is like our 9/11, man." It's like you're 25. Now you were alive during the actual 9/11.
Yeah.
That's
Also, if you're in Canada, it's not your 9/11.
That's it.
This is
Yeah.
America's second 9/11. It's not. It's nothing to do with
nothing
Canada.
at all.
It's
Because
not-
Brexit had just happened that summer, and I was like, "Oh, I bet the people of Canada will find this as funny as we found Brexit." They did not. They were very
No.
torn up about it.
It's
They're in the
because-
Commonwealth.
Is it
Yeah.
Brexit's their 9/11.
that had just happened. But like Trump getting elected downstairs was like that's funny. This
It's-
is going to be.
Yeah.
It's because
At the time, it was comical.
it kind of like
When England did Brexit, we
encourages-
laughed.
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
laughed.
Yeah, it was
even though we
funny.
knew the economic
Yeah, we're like,
fucking
we're kinda
the
fucked
shit
in a
show that
way.
was
Yeah.
coming. We were like, it's still funny though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like because it encourages more like right wing stuff in Canada as well. Because I was the same thing. I was like, why are you so upset? Like, and then I kind of like unearthed all of these like the truckers and all that kind of stuff. As well.
Sure. Right. Down the line, it did.
You're like, shut up! It's funny.
At the time, remember
was
when he
class.
said Ted Cruz's dad was the fucking Zodiac?
Yeah, it was amazing.
I actually forgot he said
He
that.
was up
Yeah.
there. That man, he's the worst person to have ever existed. But by Christ, is he entertaining?
Back then, it was more. I know. It was bad, and it was bad then for years afterwards. But I was still genuinely shocked that people were literally like crying and had to like call their parents and like go home and be like, this is I need the day off tomorrow. I was like, this is.
Wow.
I had moved home
Brilliant.
like 2 weeks before the election. I was living
Were you
in Texas.
Oh, feck, no way.
Yeah, but in Austin, so it was like everyone was voting for
He
Hillary.
voted for Trump.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
heard that.
Yeah, that-
I did.
I was one of
That's
the.
why he
Let me in. Let me in.
I'm one of the spoiled votes.
Yeah.
I was not legal to do that.
And you're writing prayers on it as well and everything.
He's writing Sleepy Joe across the ballots. So he's not even in this one.
What's my
God.
second option? We don't do that here. What are you talking about?
I'm a Fianna Fáil voter. Where's I'll be damned if Trump and Sinn Féin ruin this country.
It was fun because at the time that all of my American friends were like, I'm just done with this country. I'm just going to move to Europe. And you're like, oh, that's very interesting. Do you think it's that easy?
Yeah. How are you
Like,
going to do that?
Yeah, most people in Europe find it very difficult to get to the States.
Yeah.
And that's why American people are like, what do you mean you can't stay in the country? This is crazy because they've
Yeah.
never met an immigrant.
Sure.
They,
Yeah.
they don't understand. They're just like, oh, everyone I know is American. You're like, no, you can't just legally go anywhere in the world you
And
want.
set
You're
up
like,
shop,
well,
yeah.
that's not right. That should be changed. Like, exactly. That would be
That's the
fantastic.
thing, yeah.
It's like, well, I'm done with this country. I want to move to your country. I'm like, well, you're the reason why he got elected. So you can keep that over there. And
But the stereotype of Americans was kind of like loud, brash, fake tan, fake hair, used car salesman. And then they elected one as president, and everyone was like, "What the hell? The fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?"
It's because they forgot about the whole center of their entire country.
They
do you
forgot
know?
what
the mass
America-
populace of
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
forgot
were
what
like,
the
"Oh,
country
wait,
was
what?"
really about.
Yeah.
Just lying through your teeth, pretending you have more money than you have, and getting to places you shouldn't really be allowed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But fair play to them.
Leave them off.
Leave them off.
Leave them off.
That was a great night. That was probably the worst gig I'd done. That would have been probably in my first 10 gigs.
No way. Did you start comedy in Canada?
No, but you know then when you start a gig, you have a gig and you're like, great, when's the next one? 3 months time.
Oh,
Woohoo.
yeah.
The 5 minutes down the country somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's probably still within the first year or so. But yeah, doing
That's
it,
so funny.
the Trump election, that was what a time.
I can't believe they left the tellies on as well while you were
And it
gigging.
was still on. I can't remember if the one behind me was still on and just muted, but they were like on, and the ticker tape was coming in, like because they were still counting the votes, but it got to a stage where like she couldn't win.
Yeah.
But they still had to wait for the last dates to come in or whatever. It's like, this is
God.
fucking the grimmest.
That's. Oh man.
What a time. But oh yeah, I was going to talk about another. Yes, that was
Yeah,
I
what's
was
your-
there. That was when was
Yeah.
that? 2016.
Yeah.
That's actually I'm going to delete that because it'll show how long I've been doing comedy for. That's a lie. I actually no. Well, did I say Trump? I meant Biden. That was what it was.
do you remember when he didn't get elected
Remember
in
that
2020?
time? Remember that time? I only started comedy 3 years ago. Not
I'm very
whatever.
new.
Yeah, I'm just.
I was in Canada at a time when people couldn't travel across the world. It was a big old deal.
Yeah.
You're a bad boy.
But yeah, I was living in I had to look this up I was living in Milton, Ontario in 2011. You know that hotspot?
No, I do
When we were
not.
crack-
Judging
Oh.
by your-
Yeah, I'm like, why
Vancouver,
were you
Toronto, Milton, Ontario.
there? Milton, Ontario.
And they put them on the map.
Why were you there?
I was working for a mushroom farm. I looked up where it was this
Don't
morning.
ask questions.
No,
Don't
I was
worry
like,
about
what?
it. Yeah, it doesn't
You
matter.
can't
But
just skim over the fact you were working on a mushroom farm.
have you seen his hair? What do you
Well, like-
expect?
what?
Did you move over specifically?
I was working there for the summer. This is why like, yeah, we were just joking a few minutes ago about people moving over to. I made the opposite. I made the mistake of not moving to one of the big cities, and I moved to a farm where I had a job. But in my head, I looked it up this morning just to get the details right. In my head, I was like, anytime I described it to people, I said it was 7 hours away from Toronto and about 6 hours away from London, Ontario.
Yeah.
It's 50 minutes to Toronto.
50 minutes?
Yeah, 50-minute drive.
and you never went
to London. I went once, and I was like, what the fuck was I doing all summer? I guess I had no car, but at the same time, in my head, it was like, it's like a 7-hour train ride to get there. Because I kept looking at a map, I was like, I can't figure out where it would have been, because none of these points are, where would it 7 hours? It must be way up there. And I looked at it, it's like, it looks like it's a suburb.
Oh my God. Were they like magic mushrooms or just like
no, I spent the whole summer answering that question. Like everyone I said to is like, oh, I'm just working on a mushroom farm. I'm like, ho, magic mushrooms, is it? They don't grow in factories.
Oh, well, I don't know what kind of farm you on.
I suppose it could have been, yeah.
Could have been on a magic mushroom farm.
So you didn't say you were on a you didn't say you were in a factory. You said I'm on a farm.
Right, but I also
they don't grow in factories.
I wouldn't have written them. How did I get
use your fucking
a
words.
work visa? How did I get a work visa to Canada? I was like, where would you be working? The drug trade, pharmaceuticals? No, you fucking pig. They don't grow pills on a farm. Use your head.
Well, he said, look at his hair. So I was like, okay, it must be magic mushrooms.
I don't even know what that means because I obviously had different hair. It was over a decade
You know,
ago.
obviously, you could have had
that hair.
It was 2011. It wasn't the same hair. Right, we're getting off track here. I was there in 2011, right? And I witnessed one of Vancouver's finest moments. The Vancouver
riots?
Hockey riots.
Oh my God, I've heard so much about these.
I just gotten there. And right, this is the tenuous connection for us to talk about this. I found this in my research.
Oh my God. Oh,
that's
wow.
downtown Vancouver, June 15, 2011.
Oh,
I know.
Do you recognize this? Do you recognize him,
Christ.
first of all?
That's my ex-boyfriend.
Nice. Why is he your ex?
Because he wasn't doing this every fucking night of the week.
Yeah.
He only did it the once.
Why'd he leave you?
Oh. I wouldn't join in any more riots. That's so funny. Wow.
That's great. For the people at home who look up the video online. No, there's a picture of a...
I didn't know about this story until he was mentioning it earlier on. He's like, and you'll never read, there's like a Limerick lad in a GA jersey in front of a burnt out car. And I was like, you know when someone tells you something and they're like, there's no way that the reality can be as good as what I just saw.
Or even better.
Yeah.
So that's...
I've never seen that photo. That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, what happened there for the people listening at home? There is a man in a Limerick jersey in front of a burnt out car. Downtown Vancouver, 2011.
Why were they rioting again?
They were rioting because I just got to Canada.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of weeks at that stage. And I was in a farm. And, you know, the stereotypes of the Canadian people, polite to a fault, you know, very civil, very, you know, almost boring, some would say. And we sat down to watch the finals of the Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup, hockey.
Yeah, the hockey. And Boston won. They beat Vancouver. And the people of Vancouver took to the streets and burnt it to the ground. I was watching a video of it earlier.
Did they leave it in Bruins?
It's, there you go.
He doesn't get that reference.
It is. It's the Boston Bruins.
There you go.
This is what he does when his jokes don't work. He's like, I'm too smart for them.
It's not
They just didn't get it.
Well,
I thought Amy would get it.
we all got it. I was watching the video of the riots earlier on. They're proper riots.
Oh yeah, they were like mental.
People were like smashing windows and just stealing shit and like throwing it into cars.
I actually met a guy. I was just in Edinburgh and met a guy from Vancouver, and he was around there for the riots or something, and then everyone was going in stealing iPhones and all this, and then he went into a shop and he stole, was it a packet of gummy bears, something random, and he just happened to get caught by the police as he was coming out, and like had to go. It like cost him like 10 grand or something, because in Canada, something to do with if you just like cross over, you're breaking an entry.
Sure.
Is crime illegal in Canada? Is that what's...
But like, you know, here you have to actually...
police state.
China is what they were calling it for a while.
Oh.
Justin Trudeau, don't ask, don't tell.
I guess.
I don't know.
Almost makes sense.
I've been. I was in Austin for the Black Lives Matter protests that like people were like shot and stuff at, and it was because it was right in the middle of the pandemic. It was like not going down there. that was like properly, even Texas,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, this is like a month in. And everyone's still like, I haven't been out of my house for like
Yeah.
a month. And then I walked down to my living room and there was 11 people making like posters to go down to the march. And I was like, oh, I'm going back upstairs. I'm sorry. And they're like, what do you mean you're not part of the... I was like, this is a very... We don't even know what this fucking thing is. And in hindsight, I'm like, all right, I should have went looting. But at the time, I was like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Because the police will shoot you. That's
true. Well,
Yeah.
this
beanbags is their thing. That's their only
Beanbags.
because they were worried about the bad PR. They decided to not shoot people with actual guns, and they would shoot them with non-deathly weapons.
Oh,
Yeah.
But then these weapons were like taking the eyes out of kids.
Yes.
And they were like,
I didn't know they were beanbags.
But
I
there
thought they
was,
were
like-
rubber bullets.
sniper beanbags as well, like some hundreds of yards away. They're like, don't worry, it's non-lethal. It's like, you're going to fucking...
I think we've all seen Jackass 2.5, where Johnny Knoxville got shot by a beanbag. Those
I
things
don't think
hurt.
I did.
Oh well,
He got shot by a beanbag.
yeah. I mean, as part of the show, not because he was at.
No,
the
because he was at it.
BLM,
Yeah.
right,
He wasn't at a beanbag protest.
Well, this was several years
Today
before.
on Jackass.
Well, this is
You're
way
fucking crazy, man. We're gonna send Bam Margera.
I'm Bam Margera, and this is BLM. Woo! BLM beanbag.
Is he dead now?
Well, if he's not, he certainly
Or
will
one
be
of them.
soon.
Or-
No, I don't think he is.
No.
But he wasn't involved in the.
No, it's
latest production.
Ryan Dunn.
Oh, okay.
Done by name, done by nature.
There you
R.I.P.
go.
Yeah.
With the Vancouver riots, they were took them several years to. Well, I suppose I think it was like 2015 they started like handing out fines or arrests or whatever.
For the riots.
It was 2011 was a bad time for everybody in the world.
What happened in
I
2011?
don't know. Recession. I can't figure out why they did it then, but apparently they've done it before, like in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
I think they do it like quite often.
They just like, that's their thing. They just do it every so
Yeah,
often.
I don't know how they truck this image around the world as, maple tree hugging.
They are like, they're really
polite.
nice, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, some people in like, I had
They
this.
love rioting.
They they just love a good riot.
Who doesn't?
There was this lad, and he was like, that kind of fake. I'm not saying this about all the Canadians, but that fake niceness. Like I was working with this fella, and he was just real fake nice, and was like,
Yeah.
it's too sweet to be wholesome. And he was turning around. It was a moving company, and he turned around and like treated like the men under him like shite.
Yeah.
Like that kind of person. And I stood in a puddle, and I was like, oh shite, I stood in a puddle, and he goes, oh, I'm so sorry, and I was like, why are you sorry? Like, I stood in the puddle, and he was like, I'm just that Canadian. I was like, would you ever fuck off? Like, Jesus Christ.
No, I'll put down a jacket over that puddle. Oh, wait, I don't have a jacket. You, my employee, lie down.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Damn.
So there's a bit of that, like, where,
Yeah. When
I do also think that, though, of like California. People say about Americans, but a lot of it's like Californians or like the very nice Americans. That people are
Yeah.
like, they're too nice, it's fake. And I do at a certain point think, we're just miserable bastards over here, where it's
Yeah.
like you can just meet a genuinely wholesome Midwestern American, and they're like, hey, how's your day? You having a good time? Hope you have a lovely day. Enjoy your trip. And they're like, these fucking fake bastards.
Yeah. Like, nah, they're talking shite. That could be it as well. Like,
It could be. I mean, the most wholesome interaction that I have here is like I dropped my grocery bag broke the other day and my stuff spilled all over the place, and some woman walked past me and was like, sure isn't that fucking typical? I kept walking. I was like, you're dead right. You're dead right. They're like, that's wholesome. As opposed to people trying to rush over and help you. You're like, oh, fucking hell. Isn't that just it?
Oh, that's so funny. Was it a woman? An old woman, did you say?
It was an old woman. Now, in
Oh,
fairness,
love that.
someone did run over and help me. A young child who hasn't learned the ways of misery yet. Like, she walked past me and was like, said something along the lines of, Ash, isn't that just fucking typical? What?
That's
And then
so-
some
That's
kid came
Dublin
over.
City Council for you now.
Jeez, that's fucking Fine Gael for you, isn't it? What? Fucking hell. The whole country's gone to the dogs. I blame the Ukrainians. Anyway, good luck. That's good, wholesome interaction.
That's a wholesome interaction. Yeah.
Bag for life, bag for shite.
Bag for shite,
Stop.
indeed.
And I said to him, it says, bag for shite.
Did you hear what I said? I says to him, here, do you hear this? Come here, John. I says to him, back for shite.
And sure, he's out there. Yeah, he's still in the car park. You can see him out the window there, still picking up his beans.
What do you find funny how if you actually went down and said it to him again? They love
It would
the
be funny
crack.
if she like kicked something down the road.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
Just kick the fucking.
And like, kick the beans down the
She went
road.
over to help me and then saw me like, tofu and black beans. She's like,
Oh, yuck. This
fucking-
fella looks like he'd work on a fucking mushroom farm.
Yeah. It's his own fault for being too fucking weak. So I was stuck in a mushroom farm for a while. But
Back to that.
That's how all the conversations will link tangentially.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then by the end of it, we'll get back to some hockey story.
what do you want? Right, this is the real story. This is the most interesting thing I could find. There probably is more stuff. but-
Okay.
yeah. Do you know the Lions Gate Bridge in Vancouver? Do you know it well?
I do, yeah. I've
Do you know-
driven over it and I know who paid for it as well.
Right. All right, then scrap that. Let's go back to the right.
Listeners not,
Cut
might
it
not
from the
know.
podcast. Cut it from
You
the
know?
I don't
There you
know.
go.
No. So the first suggested
Was it Nama?
Yeah, that's who it was. They wanted to build a bridge in the late 1800s, but the town folk, they were against it. They didn't like it. So some guy called Alfred J.T. Taylor, he took it upon himself to start convincing people it'd be a good idea to build this bridge. And they had another vote for it in 1933. And this time they said, let's fucking do it. And he also negotiated that the good people of Guinness would pay for it. They stuck their money into the bridge as part of that 1933 negotiations, and you got money coming in from overseas.
That's class. It's the original Trump.
Yeah.
We've got all these immigrants coming in here. We're not happy about it. We're going to build something. We're going to make them pay for it.
Well, just like the original Trump. So this is obviously it's a depression time. So in the deal with the federal government, they wanted to get as much local workers as possible, get employment for people during the Great Depression. And they had a specific clause in there that said no Asiatic person shall be employed or in or upon any part of the undertaking or other works. So
For the bridge?
yeah, they were like, no Asians involved, thank you. And Arthur Guinness was like, what's an Asian? That's the who? So that was good. No Asiatic person. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, I'd never heard that.
People, they probably said Oriental, and they're like, that's racist. They're like, all right,
And they wouldn't make
no Asiatics are allowed to work here. And they're like, that's okay.
Jesus.
Is it a term? Did it used to encompass Australia?
No? Jeez, you couldn't have a fucking Aussie build a bridge. What? It'd be upside down. You'd fall off the bloody thing.
Because like Oceania or Oceanic people.
Yeah.
Was it Asiatic?
Asiatic.
Never heard
That's
that term.
just
That's
a new way of being racist and dumb all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, well, it's a hell of a legacy, the old bridge
the
has.
old Guinness.
So it was built in March 31st, 1937. Cost $5 million, Canadian dollars, I guess. They opened it up to traffic and so Guinness made the money back by putting a toll on it. It was 25 cents for a car or a horse and carriage, and 5 cents for pedestrians or bicycles. So I think there's roughly a $5 for a car.
That's not bad. $5 for Guinness.
A $5
And then a couple of months after,
very
there was
dear.
a couple of months after the toll was like, well, sorry lads, it's actually not up to us. It's actually got up to $5.20.
Yeah.
And a few months after, actually lads, it's not up to us. It's actually $5.60 now.
Yeah.
And then the bridge came out. We're like, well, none of those increases are actually on us. We were telling all the publicans, that bridge owners, that we were going to actually increase the price in a few months' time and not to raise the price because we've been eating 60 cents on every pint since the pandemic. So can we not do that? Look, 2023, we're going to hit €6 for a pint in Carlow. It's going to be class. I mean, a bridge. We've got a bridge. It's the barrel.
How much is a pint of Guinness now?
Oh, God. There's
If
many
you-
a man who said he wouldn't drive across the Lions Gate Bridge once it hit a $5. Well, those men are still drinking now.
It's so fucking expensive.
$6.20.
$6.20.
Anywhere between €5.80 and €7, I'd say.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was having, I had two there
robbery.
before the podcast at the wedding I was at, and $6.70.
Where's that?
A pub.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Even like
Oh Christ! Oh, have you gone into like obviously
Have you
Temple
been
Bar is
back
not
to Galway
fair.
yet?
I haven't been drinking in Galway. No, not for a few months now.
There's a fella in Galway. It was in the news
I'm sure
a
there's
while ago.
€5 pints in Galway somewhere. You'd be great.
out in the
Yeah.
we're in the town where
But
I'm
that because
from.
there was a guy from way out in the sticks and he was like, I charge €4 flat, and everyone who doesn't is just greedy publicans. And you read into it, it's like, well, you have a family-run business in Connemara. You've got your underage
€4 flat.
Yeah, but he's probably got fucking 15-year-olds going around doing the work that are his cousins. They're not getting paid.
Yeah, that's true.
And he
yeah.
owns the business, and he's got no competitors because he's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
When it opened up back home, there was like a new public. Well, I'm from a town of like 1,000 people, but has 6 pubs.
Okay,
and none of them have closed. That they're all fucking hopping. That the next town over is like 3-4 times the population. They're gone down to like from like 10 to 4 pubs.
Wow,
And
what county is this?
Carlo.
Oh,
And we're
rotten.
just fucking
Jesus.
yeah, no, it's shocking.
Carlo.
Yeah,
Carlo is
it's-
rotten.
Hey, look at the
Oh, yeah. Right in front of
yeah,
me,
it's
like.
pointing at the giant flag on the table.
Yeah.
But I remember the man down in the village, he was like, yeah, everyone else is going to charge this much, €4 flat, no matter what drink it is, mixers, anything, don't give a shit. And I was like, why are you doing this? He's like, everyone spent it like 18 months inside.
Yeah.
And they also don't have any money, and it's shite for everyone, and I have to somehow turn a profit.
Yeah.
Just get them in, charge them
Just get
cheap,
them in,
and then
yeah.
they'll keep coming back. And it's like the only place that was fucking rammed all the time. And then he brought up to 420, and it was only the stoners who were.
Hey. Go on.
That did happen, and I was like, I'm not happy about this. It's still very cheap. I do find it funny, but also I hate change.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
You want it to be even, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the pints of Guinness over in Vancouver is so expensive and
Yeah.
shite.
Yeah, well, I'd heard.
But do you want to
from
hear
a
about
barman-
another Guinness in Vancouver who had a
Yeah.
bridge?
Yeah.
You will in a second, but have you ever heard this conspiracy theory? I don't know if it travels over to Canada, but
Does it travel well?
It traveled down to the States, down to Texas to me, that they were like, yeah, they say Guinness doesn't travel well over to the States, but it's worse in Canada.
Why?
Because in America, they get Guinness from in the kegs shipped over and it doesn't travel well or whatever, but in Canada, they get concentrate Guinness. And then they add water to it in the tap in the pub.
Are you joking?
It's definitely not true.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
just that, like,
Because I was like, it is really watery. So
is okay?
it's so watery.
Well, so seemingly that I've heard that in Canada that they do a mixture where it's like they'll pull concentrate Guinness and then mix it with like tap water as
Why
it goes
is-
through
why,
the
though?
thing. I don't know. Canucks.
Fuck's sake. I don't know if that's true, but it is watery. Because, like,
I would only ever drink it in cans or bottles when I was over there because it's.
oh, sure, the cans are shite as well.
But they're
like,
better than any standard pour in like
yeah,
a.
that's true.
That
They've
you're.
got
I'd
the
rather
widget,
you
the
get
greatest invention.
Not the widget, yeah.
but like 6.5 out of 10 is better than 5.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, when you're paying like $13 with tax and tip for a fucking shite pint of Guinness,
Yeah.
rotten.
Yeah.
I bought one on St. Patrick's Day and it was like big owl head in it, and I just wanted 1 pint of Guinness, and I was
Sure.
like, I regret this.
Yeah.
Idiot, like.
That is shocking. We might regret it more now, learning the history.
You really
of
want
it.
to?
Because this is important. Because it's
This is fun. Usually it's me that wants to keep on with the story.
yeah, and I want to have fun and do stuff. But there's only one more line, and then I can stop looking at this because they built the bridge
Oh, yeah.
that the Asians couldn't work on, and it went over to an area called called British Properties still.
Oh,
Or like British,
West Van, I think it's called. Or it
it's
might
called-
have, that might be its technical
Maybe it was the
name.
old name, was like
Yeah.
it's the British Properties neighborhood. And so the idea is that the toll going over like a fiver, cost you a fiver every time to drive over. The idea was to make suburbs that you could only get to by cars, and therefore you could only get to by being, fancy.
Rich. Well, it is really fancy still.
Yeah, and white, because I think even there's other articles from like 2020 where they're trying to get rid of all these old sort of bylaws and what they call covenants, which said no person of the African or Asiatic race or of African or Asiatic descent, except servants of the occupier of the premises and residents, shall reside or be allowed to remain on the property.
Oh my God.
So Guinness financed a bridge to get to this area where they had rules to be like, yeah, no, we just invented this term, new term, Asiatic. You can't live here. You can be here if you're owned by the owner. If you're a servant, that's okay. Other than that, go back to Vancouver.
That's wild.
And that was the Guinness family.
We've been meaning for a while to do like a long I've been boycotting them.
It's as Irish as Paddy O'Shea, and they're a Protestant family.
Yeah, they're Protestant from actually originally from
financed bridges
England.
to racist enclaves in Vancouver.
Yeah, they were
Had
originally
people cross the
English,
picket
I
line in
think.
the 1913 lockout, and the whole thing is like they're absolute bastards.
Oh
Yeah.
That they're like horrible, and the amount of stuff that they've covered up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like.
No way. You should do an expose episode.
But we'd love to get sponsored by
Oh,
Anyone.
Beamish. Or
Beamish.
Murphy's
Yeah.
or Harp or anyone that's not Diageo owned, because
Diageo,
we've
yeah.
said too many
Sure.
things already.
Harp's your own now as well.
We're fucked.
is it?
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't know that.
Did you know that the
fan of
Lionsgate
Harp.
Bridge gives its name to Lionsgate Film Company?
No, I actually didn't know that.
There you go.
Oh,
That's the
thank you
same
for that
Lionsgate
fact.
Bridge that Guinness financed. They had over to that basically apartheid area of Vancouver.
That's
Remember that?
terrible. Jesus Christ. I'm never driving on it again.
Yeah.
I'm done. Never drinking
West
Guinness
Vancouver
again.
makes
I'm never
racist
paying the
land
toll
covenants.
again. I'll
Oh.
drive straight through that.
Actually, now in fairness, they did get rid of those laws in 2020. So that's January 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
That was when they got rid of them.
Yes.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
Now I don't know when they stopped enforcing them, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
presumably
And the place has
2019.
Still
got-
around, like.
2019.
It's gone to shite ever since.
Yeah. January 2020. A month later, COVID was there.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Oh.
This
You know?
all the pieces are there. Anyway, that's the end of the story. Yeah,
Interesting story.
yeah. There wasn't a whole lot to it. They just financed it, and it was a very, racist bridge.
Yeah.
But it was the 1940s, 50s,
40s, yeah.
racist time.
Very racist.
I
time.
met when I came back from Vancouver. I met a priest. I was at a family event, and there was a priest from Monaghan there, and he was, cool priests.
Oh, yeah.
He
yeah,
came
yeah,
up
yeah.
and he was like, I saw Jimi Hendrix play at Slane. He started talking about that for a while, and I was like, all right.
Did he just come up to you and that was his opener?
Yeah, that was his opener, and he was chatting away.
Hello, young man.
Yeah.
I used to also be a young man.
Yeah. Actually, there was another long-haired fellow who liked to shred out as well. His name was Jesus Christ. No, he
Big fan of the shredding.
yeah,
Jesus
big
Christ.
fan of the shred. Yeah,
Mainly hands and feet. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, he was pretty ripped.
He was
He
ripped.
was.
That's
in all
true.
those crucifixes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all of the versions where he's a 6 foot tall white
man, yeah,
with
yeah,
with a
six-pack.
six-pack.
it's bullshit. It's unrealistic
interesting.
body stereotypes that men can't actually achieve. And
But-
women have been complaining about this since like the 80s.
Yeah.
Men have been white men have been having to deal with this since the year literally not.
That's true. Everyone can achieve Mary's body type, I can't remember what she looks like.
Yeah, I was just
Pregnant.
going to think she was
She's a virgin.
a big virgin. But she did have, apparently, she had loads of kids after that.
Who did she blame those ones on?
Poor old Joseph. Did you ever notice
You can only
Joseph
go-
just disappeared out of
Yeah.
the Bible? It's like
No.
Jesus, they had him as a kid and then he was a bit of a shit and then suddenly he was
30
33.
yeah,
and then
30 years
Joseph
ago.
was
There's
gone.
a good Lamb is a good book. What's your man's name? The San Francisco author, but it's about the in between 30 years of his life.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just that all of how Jesus figures out Christianity, leaving like the stable or whatever from childhood, then all the in between years that they don't talk about in the Bible, and it's basically just he goes and finds like Buddhism and all the other religions and takes bits from those, but he has a friend beside him all the way through called Biff, and he's great crack. That he's like, Jesus wants to know. He's like, I can't tell people about what and what not to do with sex if I don't have sex, but I can't have sex. Biff, you're going to need to go in there and fuck this prostitute another time. Really explain it to me this time.
Didn't Jesus ride Mary Magdalene, no? Or is that just like...
No, yeah. I wouldn't. Maybe Americans are different. I don't know. I couldn't have sex with a woman who had my mother's name.
Maybe Americans are different.
What's
What
the
the
Americans
Americans have anything to do with it?
I'm just saying that maybe they're different.
Maybe they're different.
Sorry,
I
what
couldn't.
did
do
you say? The priest, the young priest.
I think we're going to go down interesting territory there, but
Sorry, that too.
that's true. No, well, the priest, because he was talking about Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, all right, it was a cool priest guy. All right, let's see where this is going. I told him I just came back from Vancouver. I was like, Vancouver, full of Asians. Wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. And I was like, there it is. There we go. Stop the clock. We got it. It's
Oh
back
wait,
there.
but maybe he meant
I tried. He lured me in with his talk of Jimi Hendrix, and after about 2 minutes of conversation, I was like, "There it is. There's the racist old Monaghan priest that I knew.
Nice.
I knew it was in there somewhere." Here we. Thank you.
That's such a what a
What? Because he was obviously laying. He was obviously trying hard to like
be
to
cool.
talk, but like to convert to talk to like people.
The
in
youth.
The youth. This is their youth outreach program. It's
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
What do the youth like these days? In 2012,
Priests,
Jimi Hendrix.
yeah.
1970s blues
Yeah,
and
1960s
Asian
racism.
racism.
Priest,
Ever heard
yeah.
of the Lionsgate Bridge? Oh, yeah, partially funded that.
Did you ever hear of that game Chinese Whispers? Turns out we don't call it that anymore.
Yeah,
that's
we
true.
don't.
Did you find that in like in Canada?
Yeah.
I had a,
I didn't
I had a-
realize.
I had a Japanese housemate. And I was like, he's Japanese American, and
Yeah.
I mentioned like, oh, it was like Chinese Whispers. He's like, what the fuck did you just say?
I know.
And but then I found out that turns out Japanese are the most racist Asians of the
God,
latter.
okay.
That they have like it goes like Japanese first.
Who decided that?
The Japanese.
That makes sense.
And the South Koreans.
Yeah.
Either
I was
than
going to say, yeah, but
Yeah.
you should probably preface this with this is what you were
This is
told.
what I was told.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All the European countries are ranked racially.
Really?
Yeah, you can
Where's
tell.
Ireland there?
You can tell by Faulty Towers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
which is coming back.
Oh yeah.
Is
What?
it?
Yeah.
How will they explain Manuel?
Yeah.
Manuel gets to beat the shit out of Jonathan Ross and Russell Brand at the same.
Oh sure. Oh yeah, sure. He's dead now.
Oh, is he?
Is he?
R.I.P. He died, didn't he? A good while ago.
I have no idea. I didn't know he died.
No, I think he's still broadcast. Brand is just on Rumble. He's not dead.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he's,
no,
he's just
Russell-
dead to me. No. What was his name? The fuck. What? Yeah, the
Manuel.
actor. Yeah, the actor who played Manuel.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because I remember there's a funny headline. There was a funny article because it was around about the Brexit time, and when he died, and they were like, the son of the mirror or whatever was talking about him. It was like, you mean? It was all in the lead up to it where they're talking about like we need to Brexit so we can control immigration and all this sort of stuff. And then he died, and they're like, a beloved British hero dies. You're like, what do you mean the Jewish immigrant who came over here after World War II? So that was a good type of immigrant. He knew how to play a role. He came out. Couldn't see these new immigrants coming over and getting bonked on the head by Basil Fawlty. But anyway, that's how you tell the racial step of Europe. It's whenever Fawlty Towers is translated into different languages for different countries, whatever ethnicity Manuel is, that's how you follow it down. So in France,
Are you serious?
he's Italian.
So in England, do
Spain-
they say he's Irish?
No, they have whatever ethnicity the bumbling carpenter is. That's
yeah.
Oh well, now Mr. Fawlty, I don't know. No, I do a good job, but of course I drop your ladder on the way out. Oh, stop.
He's so good. It's I've never been so happy to be racially like it's.
He's a wink and a nod. I planted a bomb underneath your desk, Mr. Fawlty. I'm going to need you to release 17 members of the IRA.
Yeah, you probably you've lived in Canada and you've lived in America. You probably have heard of the Irish car bomb drink
Yes.
and the black and tan drink.
Yeah.
I didn't know either of those existed until I got over there, and then people were
Yeah.
saying them, and I was like, "Excuse me."
See the names. It's a personal choice of what you want to call it because they can call it like a car bomb, whereas I'll get something, drop it into, shoot it, and then just call it an inside job.
There you go. I can never order a car bomb. It fucking takes ages, man. You have to call ahead to the bar, tell them you want one.
Hi.
It is.
Oh.
It's one of those like Irish people will always say it to Americans of like that's not you can't be doing.
I didn't know it existed.
But we don't give a
We'll
shit.
be saying it as we're drinking it, being like,
The black and tan one. Now I was like, what
yeah,
the
what's a black?
Because
it's a Guinness and
exactly because there was Guinness involved and
Yeah.
Bailey's.
Yeah.
And,
Do you ever hear about that racist bridge they funded?
No, tell me more. Never heard about it.
yeah.
Also,
Big Guinness.
I don't know, Guinness and Bailey's doesn't
Yeah, that's
sound...
not great.
If you leave it long enough, you can't drink it
curdles.
because it curdles. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, that's not the kind of drink you want. Where it's like you got to do this and instantly
Yeah,
go,
yeah, you
or
gotta
else
do it
it's
quickly.
undrinkable. It's like, will that not happen if it just digests inside me? It's like, yeah, don't think about that.
Yeah,
Just let your That's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
I constantly am like informing people of Irish history to the point like that I think they get very sick of me. I'm just like, well, you don't know what happened with us. And I'm like,
Well, don't take what's happened here this evening as a joke. We do usually talk about proper Irish history sometimes.
oh yeah,
Just not. We're off for the summer, which is until next week.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, we've gotten some Irish history. Well, technically, Guinness.
That's true.
Just some
yeah.
slightly racist Irish history.
Listen, but I like that sort of stuff because we love blaming everyone else on being racist, and then you're like, well, we just don't think, given half a chance, we would have been as bad as everyone else.
Yeah, we just
which-
kind of got lucky.
We did,
but the Irish
We got
thing,
lucky to be colonized.
Well, what's your favorite Irish history to tell people when they've ordered a black and tan?
What's my favorite?
So someone calls you over and they're like, "Hey, Amy, you love this now. I just bought I'm from Boston. I live in
I'm from Boston.
I live in Vancouver. Now, what's a Vancouver accent?
It's like Vancouver accent is just it's West Coast Canada, so it's like I think it sounds American.
like vocal dry or
I'm
a little bit of it. It's not until you go in like central Canada that like they're proper kind of. You're like, oh, you're Canadian, or the Newfoundlands as well.
Newfies, eh?
They sound like weird versions of us.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
snowboarding in Whistler, eh?
That's
Took the Canuck wait, well they don't say Canucks, they are Canucks.
they are the Canucks.
Took
Yeah.
her two wheelers over on a spin to Henderson Lake there the other day.
Oh, not great.
Not great. that's what like that's what the boonies Canadians sound like to me, I think.
I can't do it either. So I've kind of tried, and like they're like, no, you're shite at it. But then they try and do my accent, and it's
They nail it.
awful.
Oh yeah.
Like, but
What's-
yeah, there was one time I was doing a gig.
Can you call them Canucks? Is that racist?
I don't think it is. Because the team in Vancouver is called the Canucks as well. So I
There's a
don't
lot of teams
think-
called a lot of things that you can't say anymore.
This is true. This
Yeah.
is true. Yeah. We have the Newfies. They're the funniest accent. I was doing a gig and one of the other comedians overheard an audience member say that they thought I was a Newfie pretending to be Irish. I was
Oh.
like, what would that gain me? Like, literally, it was like, it's like Newfies, Irish people, like we're bottom of the rung as well. Like, you know, I was like, why would I do that?
Are the Newfies they look down upon over there in
Yeah.
Labrador?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh yeah, the Newfies, like they're the weirdos of Canada. Like
They're all basically Irish people that sailed across the sea and were like, no further.
exactly. They were just like,
no,
no,
thank you.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, that's where like they say Brendan the Navigator got there
Yeah.
back in the day.
I mean,
that-
you say that.
I say that because one man on the internet told me that, and
I
I
always
get
believe men on the internet. That's
Course.
what we should. Yeah.
Did you ever
all-
tell them this, that the Irish invaded Canada in 1866?
Did we?
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell everyone we invaded no one.
The Fenians.
the boys.
Do you remember? I don't know. I was trying to
We
tell
just
this.
came over on our holidays.
They a bunch of, I'm not going to say drunken Irishmen, but a bunch of drunken Irish men and women got a load of guns and got a train up to Canada. The idea was to take
From
over
where?
Canada from like Boston.
So it's basically
Where else?
post
New York.
post US Civil War.
Yeah.
That the Irish lads who'd got over there and were fighting in like for a job.
Yeah.
And they'd already gotten trained up. And I guess the idea had been eventually like we'll go back home with all of our skills and we'll fight the English. But then there was a big problem between like the IRB and like the two different like the North American and the Irish like separate strands of the IRA, whatever you want to call it, that they were like, should we fight England back in Ireland or should we invade Canada
Yeah.
and then ransom it back to the English for Ireland?
It was a bargaining chip.
Duh.
So all the lads
Really?
went
Yeah.
up, and they're lads going from both sides of the Civil War. So there's just, and they went in the uniforms of the Civil War, so that for the Canadian people, they were just seeing both sides of the war that was happening in America, invading them together. That they were almost like, what are we even? What the fuck is this about? Let's go slave them.
Yeah.
Oh
But they
my
go-
God.
They must have seen just like they'd said that beforehand. There was like all the towns are in America beside the border were just full of Irish people the night or two before waiting to get trains. Like they weren't.
Yeah.
They were on the train in their
Wow.
military uniform. They, like
But they just like got the train.
Bit of
up for-
subtlety, like,
Yeah,
you know?
but because they didn't meet any, they got across the border and just started marching. and they had guns, so they
And did it
technically
do anything?
Yeah, well, there's no one to do anything to do. They're just walking through firearms. They're like, "Come on, fight us! I think we win." So they got, they were out there for a few days.
A few days they went in. There was like one battle where everyone shot everyone, and like 2 people died because it's olden times.
Yeah.
It was before Oppenheimer, so the wars used to be like 4 people died.
The guy who invented the pistol saying, "I am become death,
Destroyer of one man.
It's got 6
If I'm
bullets
lucky.
in it. War will never be the same again."
Cat only has 9 lives. I've got a Barry Keoghan's chance.
What the? Yeah, you can tell him that next time the Canadians start mouthing off about the fucking black and tans. You'd be like, "We'll send the Fenians back."
No, because
old
I'm always like,
1860s.
we did nothing wrong.
We
Technically we didn't because we did
Yeah, I was
nothing.
going to say, we didn't actually do. I was like, so we didn't actually do anything really bad.
no,
Go,
basically,
go, go, go.
there
We
was,
tried.
like-
That doesn't count.
If I remember right, there was like one battle and like 2 people died, everyone ran away, and there was a few more skirmishes and no one died. And then they at some point, like under the cover of darkness, snuck into like a tiny town somewhere and was like, "This is where like the town capital is," and they shot a couple of bullets at it and then ran away.
Oh, God.
And that was it.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell them that.
Yeah.
Come
No.
on, Jesus
I'll fucking
Christ.
keep them honest. You
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
tell
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I'll tell them the truth about back
We
home.
never did. What do you tell them if they start going on about Irish car bombs?
I just like give them kind of the history of like the North and how, and a bit of my. I kind of go all over the place, to be honest. Like,
It's a
and
tough one to.
It is because I'm like, where do you want to start?
It's
here?
hard to be like, look, feudal system. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like I'm like there he is, the big ride, Michael Collins.
100 and
Is he?
I mean, that's not a fantastic photo of him, but there is that photo. There's another photo of him, and he's like very handsome.
yeah.
So we divide on a couple of things.
yeah?
He thinks that man, he's a very handsome man. I don't know.
Collins, no,
Collins, I'm not.
I saw a video of him there the other day, and he's
On YouTube.
yeah. He's on OnlyFans now, and I was like, I shouldn't have paid for this.
He's much better looking than Name and Devil Era, for sure.
Right, what are we talking about here, though? Canada's a much bigger country than Ireland. What do we?
But now here's a question.
Yeah.
Who is the hottest?
Yeah,
Name and
yeah,
Devil
yeah.
Era, Michael
No, but I
Collins.
mean,
It's
anyone's
Roger
hotter than
Casement.
Dev.
It's always been Roger Casement.
I had a cat called Roger Casement.
Oh,
He
yeah.
also died, though.
That's
Pretty young into his.
Did he spend a lot of time in the Congo?
He did.
Why Roger Casement?
I think we got him on the day of his the anniversary of his death or something. My brother named him. We had a Countess Markovich as well, cat.
Oh yeah,
But then she was an absolute bitch of a cat, so her nickname was Countess Markovich. Yeah.
I've never said that word.
Sparkovich. That's
Yeah.
great. That is
Yeah.
I'm always on the lookout for like new drag names for whatever.
Oh,
it's
there
like.
you
Oh, yeah.
go.
Countess Sparkovich.
Markovich.
Markovich.
Yeah.
Now I'm annoyed because I've said this before and he doesn't remember, but I've had that one. That's my
What?
like he has Una Bomber, and I'm never going to
Yeah,
beat that.
that's pretty
That's
good. That's pretty good,
It's
yeah.
very good. I did hear a good one today. Tara Stock.
Tara
Oh,
Shock.
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Or let's just take 12 minutes to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Just sit in like,
Who-
okay, what would be a good one?
There is a drag act on the scene, I think, that has a Sheila Do,
Sheila Do.
as in like at the end of the night, Sheila Do.
Oh, I like that.
That's
That's
good, yeah.
funny.
Sheila Do.
That reminded me, I do this variety show in Vancouver with a girl that does blind boy burlesque. So it's
Oh, yeah.
mad. It's like she's Canadian and she just became a really big fan of blind boy during COVID.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then she's like,
Everything but the mask comes off.
pretty much. Like, I'm not joking. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so funny to watch because she has the plastic bag, she hand paints it and everything, and then just like is getting naked as blind boy and has edited his like podcasts like to it's coherent and it's like 15 minutes, I think.
This.
Yeah.
Is there Mr. Chrome involved in the burlesque?
No, it's just blind
So
boy.
there's an
yeah,
opening?
yeah. Huh? So there is an opening, yeah. If you want to come over and do a bit of burlesque, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's class.
How are you finding Vancouver anyway, despite the racism?
I really like Vancouver. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And like I've made really good friends and stuff over there as well. And I'm running my own show over there, a dog friendly comedy show. So it's just normal comedy and you can bring your dogs.
And
so,
Irish people are allowed in.
Yeah. Irish people. Yeah, I actually started it off as like a one-off, and it was a play on the No Blacks, No Dogs, No Irish, but it was more Irish, more black, more dogs.
Yeah.
But they can be a bit like a little bit on the PC side for some things. So
Just like us.
some people were like, what is this? Like, that's racist. I was like, no, it's a play on a racist like sign, you know?
E-Man Adama called his show, No Blacks, No Dogs, No Irish, and he was putting up Facebook events or whatever. And he put up, I was supporting him in Dundalk in the Facebook event, like No Blacks, No Dogs, No Irish. And someone commented on it being like, don't bring your hate speech up here.
Stop.
It's like clearly the poster is his face.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Oh man.
E-Man Adama's new show, No Blacks, No Dogs, No Irish. Like, that's fucking racist.
Yeah,
man.
it would, because I had a mixture of Irish and black comedians, and one of the black comedians, his friend got onto him and was like, "Why are you on this racist show?" I was like, "It's not racist." Oh, and then
Even
I
if
was
you
like,
thought for a second, it's like, how? Where are you, a black man on the show that says no blacks? This is racist. Like, how
oh,
does-
yeah, so I changed the name of it. So-
Yeah, I mean, that is a
yeah.
niche reference, to be fair.
Exactly, it was, yeah. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to try it out and see how it worked with like the dogs in the
Yeah,
audience.
badly.
So, yeah.
I had the idea years ago of like doing a comp show in Edinburgh that it's like no blacks, no dogs, no Irish,
Yeah.
but that it's only Irish, only people of colour,
Yeah.
and then we will let one English comedian go on, but they have to dress in a dog suit.
Is that an actual?
No, I really want to do that.
Oh.
Like,
That's his
I was
fantasy.
like, that's
all
funny.
I've ever wanted
Yeah.
to do.
He keeps ringing me at 4 a.m. being like, we can do
We
it.
can do it. Come on.
It's going to be a head-to-head comp show with my idea of Comanche Black and Trans, which is just black and trans comics. What a show it would be.
Oh my god! Yeah, I had to change up my. I'm gonna strictly move
have-
on here.
You can have black and trans if you want.
Can I?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And anyone who orders a black and trans drink, you can be like, that's fucking insensitive, pal.
And they only serve black and tans drinks as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, Canada's going great.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Is there anything you want to plug?
I suppose, my podcast.
Oh yeah, what's your podcast about?
It's called Soft for Us, and it's me and two other comedians, and we're just shooting the shit really for like 40 minutes, having the crack.
That's
We're
the
just
dream.
3 women talking about everything and anything. So myself, Danielle, and Nikki. So it's give it a listen.
That's
Soft
what
Yeah.
for us.
we wish that we could go back in time and just make this podcast just shooting the shit instead of having to.
Well, that's what we've
all
done.
of these interviews are now just
Yeah.
us like we don't need to go research like thousands of words and like have history buffs being like that's wrong. And
Oh
like,
no way! Did you have a lot of that?
That rarely.
Rarely,
happens.
Okay.
Because no one who listens to this is like overly sensitive about stuff. But that's good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're on episode 3 or 4 now.
Just we're putting up the 5th one now tomorrow.
Good. It's all ahead of you, the misery.
The misery, I know. Yeah, that's what we were saying. You were like, oh God.
Yeah.
In a good way, though.
oh, you're
yeah.
gonna
Well,
get
just because you were just out there like editing or posting stuff. And that'll never end. That's just
That's
what it is
life now.
That's
Yeah,
every
just keeps
waking
going.
moment. Sure, it's all ahead of you. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Exciting
thing.
stuff. Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
check out the podcast.
Yeah, check out the podcast.
So for us, and yeah, well, people are always like, "Where is it on? Is it on Spotify?"
It's on
It's like,
everything. It's on
yeah, it's-
YouTube as well.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we've,
I don't think people understand how easy it is to put it on everything. Like
you just
to
do
it
it.
does that. It doesn't-
Yeah.
Last
You're
week
signed to Spotify, are you? I heard
Yeah,
they give
it's like-
Rogan 100 million.
I put all of our podcasts up on the dodgy boxes around Ireland, and we've gotten fucking mad numbers in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's weird because there's no video for most of them.
Yeah.
It's just-
Just listening to it on
it's
their
just-
tellies.
they're just like, I'm sick of RT1. I
Yeah.
listen to this
Well,
instead.
switch it over. Shy Talk FM. But that's great. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to go do a gig now.
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Unreal.
Great.
Cheers for coming on.
Yeah.
Great crack.
Goodbye.
Shafter, good luck.
I forgot what happened.